How's it going, viewers? Welcome back to the channel. So this is going to be an unboxing video of this bike here, which is the G801 OneLap bike by Magene Fitness. Now, it doesn't look like much just because it's wrapped in this yellow protective tape. Hopefully that's just protective and someone didn't accidentally put their foot through this box. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and try to cut some of this tape off just so we can see the box. I've actually never seen the box personally, and it does look like this box is actually upside down. This is the way it came, so hopefully we're not dealing with any damage to the bike. But let's go ahead and cut this tape off really quick. All right, so I got the bike unwrapped, and as you can see here, the box is actually in pretty good shape. There's a couple little dings, like including that one there on the bottom, but overall it doesn't look bad. But like I said, this did arrive upside down, so hopefully it should be okay. But judging by the instructions on the top of the box, it looks like I do need to flip it over, cut the bottom of the box, and then take the outer shell out. So I'm gonna do that now. I'm also gonna cut this little plastic tie here. Okay, that was pretty cool. Looks like everything is in good shape. Not seeing any damage to the actual foam container and no damage to the bike itself, so hopefully we should be good. Okay, so I'm just gonna start taking things out of the foam little by little, and then I'll take the main bike area out of the packaging. So let's go and take this plastic off, see what we're working with here. All right, guys, and here is everything unboxed and unpackaged. So working left to right over here in no particular order whatsoever. These are the handlebars, and kind of remind me a lot of some of the spinner bikes that I've ridden and owned in the past, except these actually have like a foam rubberized padding on the bars, which feel really good. No additional mounts or anything like that. It's pretty much just a basic third position, second position, and first position, which is the bare essentials, but again, I really like the surface here. This is the cover for the LCD, which is actually already pre-installed onto the bike, onto the front portion there. This is the tablet holder or device tray, I guess you could call it. Something that sets it apart though is that it actually has little suction cups here, so I'm guessing when you put a tablet on here, if you push it down, it will actually help secure it on there without it wobbling or anything like that. You do get a bag of bolts and nuts and some Allen wrenches, screwdriver, and a wrench to put your pedals on as well. This is your power brick and power adapter, so this is just a standard plug. This actually is not a US plug, but I do have one that'll work just fine. Here is your instruction manual. These are your pedals, and these are actually higher quality pedals than what I've seen online. This is actually some type of aluminum or magnesium, which is really nice. And then of course you do get a toe cage in there for your shoes. The other side is just a simple platform. Something else to note is that this is a standard thread, so you can actually install your own pedals, whether they be SPDs or SPDLs. These are your stabilizer bars. So this one here, of course, this is the front with the wheels on here. Pretty nice rolling. And then this is your rear one as well. Nice rubberized surface on the bottom to prevent slippage. And then of course the bike itself. So it looks like most of the hard work is already pre-assembled, which is really nice. It's just a matter of attaching the stabilizer bars on the bottom, installing your pedals, and then working with the handlebars, and then of course the cover and the tablet mount. But other than that, your saddle is already mounted. Of course that is adjustable. There is a single bolt right here on the other side, and you loosen that, you can slide your saddle forward and back and also tilt it up and down to get that perfect seating position. And then to adjust the height of your saddle and your bars, there's actually a very nice quick release lever there. So it's pretty easy to adjust your height and get that perfect seating position. As you can see here, this one does not have the notches in it, so you can literally move it infinite amounts. Crank arms are really nice. I really like the design of them. I like how they're bolted on to the bottom bracket and not just tightened with a single bolt here. So I'm sure that these are going to be very, very durable. Something that sets this bike apart is its very tight Q factor. Q factor is the distance from the left pedal to the right pedal, and you want that pretty close. That's basically going to mimic, say, a road bike or a mountain bike. I believe this one is pretty tight, and it's going to be kind of in between a road bike and a mountain bike. So this is going to be very good if you're an outdoor cyclist and you're hopping onto a spin bike. This is going to suit you very well. And then on the drivetrain side, this is what it looks like here. So you see the large chain wheel, chain ring, whatever you want to call it, and that's going to translate to a very high RPM and ratio. Something to note is that the flywheel on this bike is actually in the rear, and something that sets it apart too is that it's actually enclosed inside the plastic here. So hopefully that's going to make it a little bit quieter. This bike actually has a very low decibel number, and I have high expectations for the noise level on this bike. I think it's going to be very nice. So Q factor, quiet ride, and then also the Bluetooth compatibility of this bike. You can compare it to Zwift, RGT, Sufferfest, and of course their own in-house OneLap app. And I'm actually going to try that out as well. I've used that in the past, but I know that they've made a lot of improvements to the app, to the graphics, to the gameplay. So let's go ahead and check it out right now. I'm going to show you how to put this bike together, and let's check it out right now. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the front stabilizer bar. As you can see here, there's a nice little sticker here noting the direction. You're going to want the wheels facing forward. All you need to do is take two of these bolts with the pre-installed washer and nuts. So you're going to be using the included bolts. There's going to be two bolts up front with the two washers and two nuts. So all you do is set these in here. There's a little square hole, and that's where the bolts go, and that prevents them from spinning from underneath. So you don't need a back wrench, which is really cool. Go and thread those in, and you can go and set it on the ground for now. As you lift up the bike and get that aligned, so you want the rounded edge to go towards the rounded edge of the bike there. I'm going to get one of the nuts here and tighten it down. Now you can install these with the included tools. I just like using my own personal tools for stuff like this. So I have my little power drill here. I can actually set it to a very low torque, so I'm not going to over torque it, and then I will tighten it down with a manual wrench after. Okay, now I can go ahead and torque the bolts down manually, and I'm just taking care not to over tighten them. And actually, while I'm up here, I'm going to go ahead and tighten these nuts down. I'm not sure why they're loose like that, but let's go ahead and tighten that now. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and do the same process of the stabilizer bar on the back of the bike. All right, and before I mount this, I did want to note a couple things. So first of all, this is not direction specific, so it's literally symmetrical on both sides. So there's a right way and a wrong way to install it. You just want to make sure the feet are facing the ground, of course. And I did want to note that these are actually threaded, so you can actually level out your bike by unscrewing or tightening, depending on what level you want to get, and also to take out any rocking as well. That's for the front and the back of the bike as well. So because of the flywheel in the back of the bike, this area is going to be quite a bit heavier than the front. So just take note of that. Again, same process with these nuts and bolts. Go ahead and loosen these. And then get them started on the square side. And for this step, it might actually be good to have two people. I'm going to do it myself, but just an FYI. Yeah, that is pretty heavy. Whew. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and torque them to spec. Alright guys, and I'm getting ready to install my pedal on the right side. Again, to note is that on the right side you want the right pedal, left side you want the left pedal. This one's marked R, and this one is actually standard thread, so righty-tighty. Again, starting this by hand, trying to get it level, and the threads will bite, and they actually did instantly, which is really cool. There is some blue Loctite on this. It's pretty nice that they pre-apply that, and you don't have to worry about that coming loose down the line. Okay, so get it as tight as possible by hand. I mean, once the threads are in there, you really can't cross-thread it anyways, but just makes it a little bit easier. And then you can for sure use the included tool. I'm going to use my own tools because that's what I prefer, but you get the same outcome. This is a spin doctor with a 15mm end, and it's also rubberized, so I don't scratch the crank arm or the pedals or the bike or anything like that. Okay, so same fashion, I'm going to go ahead and use my pedal wrench on this pedal here, and go ahead and get a nice tightness to it. There you go. And an easy way to remember on which way to tighten the pedal is you always want to be tightening towards the front of the bike. Okay, so here we are at the front of the bike. You can see the nice LCD with the little electronic turn knob. Really nice. This is your stop lever. All right, and to install the handlebars, you will need to remove these 4 Allen screws. All right, and to install the handlebars, you're gonna want this tablet holder facing upward, and then these lay ever so slightly right into that gap there. And go ahead and hand thread these Allen screws in there. Now I'm going to finish them up with the Allen key. All right guys, bars are installed nice and tight and secure. Let's go ahead and install the tablet tray. These screws are actually pre-mounted, so I'm just going to loosen them and remove them. And then reinstall with the tablet tray in place. All right, and now we just need to finish up the look with the cover for the LCD. This snaps right into place. And there it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and plug it in. Of course, it does have this power adapter. Let's go ahead and unthread this. And now it's time to plug it in. So I do have this cord, which is an American plug. So that plugs in right here. And then on this end, this is what plugs into the actual bike. There's a sticker noting the power here, and that basically goes just like so. All right guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick ride. Let's go ahead and open up the OneLap application. I'll show you guys how it pairs and everything like that. Just make sure Bluetooth is on, which it is. Nice, really cool graphic there. So there you see OneLap. I'm gonna go ahead and hit start. Login successful. All right guys, and here is the connection. So you can see that my bike is already connected. So on the very left side, you see the smart trainer. As you can see the wattage there. I also have my Cadence on the very right side. To the left of that is my heart rate. I have my Polar H9 on right now. And that's pretty much it. There is no power meter and there is no speed sensor needed, just because everything's done through the smart bike itself. And by the way, as you can see, my phone is right here. Just listen for this. Just ever so slightly, those suction cups just lock the phone in just in place, just like that. Just do a quick endurance base. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to go ahead and play with it here. On my console here, I see the app and then I see the power. So the power, the wattage just kicked up for me automatically. I'm going to go ahead and dial it down a little bit. I'm not trying to burn any major calories or anything like that right now. Let's just go ahead and get a nice clean pedal here. Nice fluid 360 pedal stroke. See, I just passed someone right there. There's not very many people here right now, as you can see. I'm two nearby me. So as you can see, the very left is my power output at 95-ish. I'm at 58 RPMs. Target wattage is 101. Bump it up a little bit. And then my heart rate is at 116. On the very left side, you can see my FTP percentages. So I'm at 62% FTP right now. For 1 minute, not sure if you can make it out. The light at the bottom is actually white now. All right, guys, that was a quick look at the OneLap G801 spin bike. Really, really competitive bike in this price range, of course. And I think it's going to be a great contender for the lower cost market. But I think this one adds a lot more functionality to what you're used to seeing in this price range. As you saw, all the connectivity, it paired up with all my apps just like super quick, a lot quicker than any bike that I've probably ridden. So Bluetooth wise, I think this is a very strong contender. Of course, it uses the OneLap app, Zwift, RGT, even connected to Peloton. Peloton right away saw my Cadence and everything like that. And it was also really cool to see in Zwift and OneLap where the resistance automatically was set based on the terrain I was riding. So it was kind of cool to see on Zwift and OneLap that anytime the terrain changed, the resistance automatically changed electronically on the bike without me needing to adjust the manual knob there. So anytime that I came to a descend, it would just crank down the resistance and I would be more of a free spin. And then as soon as it went back up into a climb, it would just crank up. And it was just pretty interesting to have the bike interact with the app automatically. This is my first experience with something like that, so definitely a huge plus for this bike. And I really love these crank arms. As you can see, the crank arms are very high quality. On the left one, it has a similar design to what I've seen with Shimano. So it not only has the center bolt, but it also has the two bolts on the very end, both on opposite sides, and that just really locks things in further. Everything from the pedals to the crank to the bottom bracket felt very stiff and very secure. I didn't really sense any type of wobbling or any flex or anything like that, so that's a very good plus. And the narrow Q factor on this is like second to none. I don't think I've ridden a bike with a Q factor as narrow as this one. It feels a lot like my road bike and probably in between my road bike and my mountain bike. So I felt right at home as far as the pedaling platform goes. Now I will want to switch out the pedals to something like an SPD clipless. That's just what I'm used to. But again, these flat platform pedals are metallic and they have the toe cages in there as well on this side, and they feel very, very solid as well. They definitely got some weight to them too, so yeah, that's much appreciated that they included these with this bike. Like I said, this is just more of an instructional video on how to put it together and more of a first look. So please hit that subscribe button because I will be doing a full-on review of this bike and also go into detail with the pairing and the apps and setting it up and everything like that. And talk a little bit more about these LEDs on the bottom of the bike as well, how they interact with what you're doing, how much output you're putting in, and everything like that. So hopefully you guys like the video. Again, please subscribe if you're not already, because I will be doing more footage on this bike as well. Like, comment as usual, and I will see you guys in the next video. Later.